Imagine this. A 12-year-old girl walks into Judge Caprio's courtroom carrying an attitude that could unsettle even adults. She isn't here for her own case, her mother brought her. What begins as a simple traffic matter soon becomes a moment this child will carry for the rest of her life. Let us know where you're watching from, because this story about respect, consequences, and parenting connects with anyone who believes raising responsible people matters more than raising comfortable ones. Wednesday, 2:30 p.m., Providence Municipal Court. Judge Frank Caprio is at his bench reviewing the day's schedule. At first glance, the case appears ordinary. Sarah Martinez, age 34, facing 3 unpaid parking tickets and an expired vehicle registration. Nothing unusual. Nothing that hints at what is about to happen. The bailiff announces the case as the courtroom doors open. Sarah Martinez walks in first. She appears to be in her mid-30s, wearing medical scrubs, likely after a long shift. Her posture shows fatigue, the kind that comes from juggling multiple jobs and limited sleep. Her hair is tied back and her tired eyes reflect someone doing their best under constant pressure. She approaches with hesitation, knowing she is responsible but lacking the means to fix the situation. Behind her enters Madison, 12 years old but carrying herself with the confidence of someone who has rarely heard the word no. She is dressed head to toe in expensive brands, shoes that look untouched by real sidewalks, a jacket displaying a bold designer label, and gold jewelry catching the courtroom lighting. But it is her demeanor that draws attention. She stays focused on her phone, earbuds in, not acknowledging the judge, the bailiff, or anyone else in the room. It's clear this setting and the people in it mean nothing to her. Sarah glances back at her daughter with a familiar look, embarrassment mixed with defeat. The gallery notices immediately. An older woman whispers to a friend. A man in a work uniform crosses his arms, his expression firm. Even the clerk pauses to observe. There is a shared understanding that something about this situation is deeply out of balance. Judge Caprio watches the two approach. His expression remains composed, though his eyes reveal concern. He sees a hard-working mother stretched thin, and a child shielded from that reality, surrounded instead by luxury and disregard. He speaks calm and steady. "Miss Martinez, please approach the bench." Before Sarah can respond, Madison interrupts loudly. "Can we hurry this up? I have plans." She still has not looked away from her phone. Sarah's face reddens. She whispers sharply, "Madison, please, not now." Judge Caprio leans forward slightly, folding his hands. "Young lady, I am speaking with your mother. Please wait quietly." His tone is firm but measured. Madison doesn't look up. She sighs loudly, exaggerated and intentional, shifting her weight with open impatience. The reaction is immediate. More whispers. Head shakes. The man in the work uniform tightens his arms again. Even the bailiff raises an eyebrow. This level of disregard is rare, especially from a child. Judge Caprio notes the room's response, then turns back to Sarah, keeping his tone professional. "Miss Martinez, you have 3 unpaid parking tickets totaling $450 and an expired vehicle registration. Can you explain your situation?" Sarah takes a breath, her hands clasped tightly. "Your Honor, I work as a nurse at Providence General. I've been working extra shifts and catering on weekends to cover expenses. The tickets added up while I was trying to keep everything else together. I couldn't afford the car repairs and the registration renewal at the same time." Her voice is steady but weary. "I'm not making excuses. I know I should have handled it earlier. I'm asking for time to pay. I can do $50 a month if that is acceptable." Judge Caprio nods, reviewing her file thoughtfully. Before he responds, Madison interrupts again. "Oh my God. Mom, just pay it so we can leave. This is taking forever." The courtroom falls silent. Even the clerk stops typing. Sarah's embarrassment deepens. "Madison Marie, please be quiet," she urges quietly. Madison finally looks up, only to roll her eyes. "Whatever," she says slowly, full of attitude. Judge Caprio's expression becomes more serious. His tone remains controlled but firm. "Young lady, I need you to remain silent while I am speaking with your mother. This is a courtroom, not a social gathering." Madison looks at the judge for the first time. She does not remove her earbuds. She does not put away her phone. Instead, she holds his gaze with a slight smirk, as if the entire proceeding is unimportant to her. "Fine." The word is quiet, but filled with disrespect. She immediately returns her attention to her phone, Thumbs moving quickly across the screen. The gallery reacts. Soft whispers rise. A woman near the front mutters under her breath, just loud enough to catch. Unbelievable. An older man shakes his head slowly, with the firm disapproval of someone raised in a time when such behavior would never have been acceptable. Judge Caprio allows the silence to settle, then turns back to Sarah. Ms. Martinez, you mentioned you're a nurse. How long have you been in healthcare? Sarah seems relieved at the shift in attention, eager to move past her daughter's conduct. 12 years, Your Honor. I work in the emergency department. It's challenging, but I care deeply about helping people. The judge nods. And you're raising your daughter alone? Sarah hesitates, and that short pause speaks volumes. Yes, Your Honor. Her father and I divorced 3 years ago. It's just the two of us now. Before the judge can continue, Madison interrupts without lifting her eyes from her phone. Not really alone. I see Dad all the time. He actually has money. The words linger in the air, delivered carelessly but cutting sharply. Sarah's shoulders slump as though physically impacted. Tears threaten, but she forces them back. The gallery reacts instantly. Quiet gasps, shifts, sharp breaths. The same woman in the front now leans forward, hand to her chest. The older man who had been shaking his head now stares at Madison in open disbelief. Judge Caprio's hands tighten slightly on the bench. Miss Martinez, he says, addressing Madison. His tone changes, firm and commanding. The courtroom straightens instinctively. That remark was disrespectful and unkind. You will not speak about your mother in that way in this courtroom or anywhere in my presence. Madison shrugs, indifferent. I'm just telling the truth. Mom works constantly and we're still broke. Dad works and has nice things. That's just how it is, Sarah's voice catches. She turns toward the judge, away from her daughter, almost as if to shield herself from the words. Your Honor, I'm sorry for her behavior. This is not how I raised her. Judge Caprio looks between them, reading the dynamic clearly. It appears someone is influencing her differently now. Sarah's voice drops. Her father. He focuses on money and appearances. He buys her things I can't. It makes me look like I've failed. Madison scoffs. Louder this time. You make yourself look like a failure. Dad doesn't have to do anything. The courtroom reacts instantly, gasps, murmurs. A woman in the back rises before being quietly pulled down. The bailiff steps forward, prepared to intervene. Judge Caprio raises one hand. Simple, calm, effective. The room quiets. When he speaks again, his voice carries the authority of long experience. Steady, measured, and unwavering. Miss Martinez, he says, addressing Madison directly. His eyes fixed. His meaning unmistakable. Judge Caprio's eyes lock onto Madison's with an intensity that finally makes her look up from her phone and pay. Attention. You have just crossed the line in my courtroom. The room becomes still, quiet. In a way that feels weighty. The people in the gallery lean in slightly, sensing something important is unfolding. Judge Caprio's focus stays on Madison. She has stopped scrolling, but she still holds the phone as if it provides comfort. The smirk remains, but it's weaker now. Something in the judge's tone has finally reached her. Your Honor, Sarah begins, her voice unsteady. I can handle this at home. Can we please just address the tickets? Judge Caprio lifts his hand calmly, still looking at Madison. Miss Martinez, your mother is trying to protect you. The question is whether you have earned that protection. Madison's phone vibrates loudly, the sound cutting through the quiet room. Without considering the timing or the space she is in, she glances at the screen, and her expression brightens. It's my dad, she says, as if this detail should matter here. Judge Caprio responds sharply, but without raising his voice. Put that phone away. Now. Madison hovers her thumb over the screen, but he's calling me. I said now. There is no anger in his tone, only undeniable authority, authority that is not up for debate. Madison pauses, then makes a choice that shapes everything that follows. She answers the call. Dad, yeah, I'm in court with Mom. She's making a big deal over some parking tickets again. The courtroom reacts at once. Voices rise. The bailiff steps forward. The judge brings his gavel down once, firm enough to silence the room immediately. Miss Martinez. End that call and hand your phone to the bailiff. Madison pulls the phone from her ear, stunned. You can't take my phone. That's illegal or something. In this courtroom, Judge Caprio replies. Steady and certain, I can and I will, bailiff. The bailiff holds out his hand. Calm, firm. Madison clutches the phone to her chest. This is theft. My dad is a lawyer. He'll sue you. Judge Caprio raises an eyebrow. Your father is an attorney? Madison nods enthusiastically. Yes, and he told me I never have to let anyone take my property without cause. The judge's expression remains controlled, but something in his eyes shifts. Recognition. He looks to Sarah. Miss Martinez, is your ex-husband a lawyer? Sarah nods, her hands covering part of her face. Yes, Your Honor. He does corporate law downtown. And does he pay child support as ordered? Sarah's voice is barely above a whisper. He's supposed to pay $800 a month. He's 8 months behind. The gallery reacts, quiet murmurs turning into open disbelief. A man says, 8 months? A woman adds, but she's wearing all that, gesturing to Madison's expensive clothing. Judge Caprio writes something on his pad. 8 months. That totals $6,400. Sarah nods, unable to speak. And yet, the judge continues, your daughter says he provides her with expensive items. Sarah's voice breaks. He lives in a penthouse with his new wife. He takes Madison shopping every other weekend. He buys her whatever she wants. I can't match that, and he knows it. Madison's face reddens. You're just jealous Dad upgraded. The words land hard. Sarah reacts as if struck. Several people gasp. A woman stands before the bailiff, motions her down. Judge Caprio speaks quietly, yet every word carries. Miss Martinez, hand the phone to the bailiff now, or I will hold you in contempt of court. Madison's confidence falters. I'm 12. You can't hold a kid in contempt? Watch me. The bailiff steps forward again. Madison looks to her mother, but Sarah has turned away, shoulders shaking. Reality settles in. Madison sighs dramatically and hands over the phone. This is so unfair, she mutters. Judge Caprio places the phone on his desk. Now, Miss Martinez, you will stand there quietly while I speak with your mother. If you interrupt again, there will be consequences you will not like. Do you understand? Madison crosses her arms but nods. I asked you a question. Do you understand? Yes, she says through gritted teeth. Yes, what? She exhales, realizing she has no advantage here. Yes, Your Honor. Judge Caprio shifts his attention back to Sarah, his tone softening. Miss Martinez, tell me about your life, not the tickets. You. Sarah wipes her eyes. I don't want to burden the court. Your Honor, you are not burdening anyone. I am asking. Sarah takes a slow breath. After the divorce, I kept the house, but I also inherited the mortgage and all the debt we had built up. My ex left with his career and his independence. I work 60 hours a week between the hospital and catering jobs. I'm trying to save for Madison's college, keep food in the home, and maintain a car that barely runs. When the tickets came, I simply couldn't pay them. I planned to, but there was always something more urgent. The electric bill, school fees, medical costs, and your ex-husband? Sarah shakes her head. He contributes nothing. He says his new wife is pregnant and he needs to save for the baby. His lawyer keeps requesting reduced child support. We've been back to family court 4 times in 2 years. I can't afford to keep fighting it. Judge Caprio makes another note, and during this time he's been taking your daughter shopping and buying her expensive things. Sarah nods. Every other weekend she returns with bags of items I could never buy. Designer clothes, jewelry, the newest phone. And she looks at me like I'm the one who failed, because I can't provide those things. Because I'm working just to keep the lights on. If you find this story compelling, make sure to like and subscribe to Judge Stories for more real moments where truth meets fairness. Judge Caprio leans back, fingers steepled. Then he lowers his hands and looks directly at Madison. She's still standing with her arms crossed, posture showing defiance. But her eyes reveal uncertainty. Miss Martinez, come stand in front of my bench. Madison hesitates. Mom, she says, her voice turning into a complaint. Tell him I don't have to. Sarah doesn't turn around. Her shoulders tremble slightly. Do what the judge says, Madison. Her voice is flat. No frustration, no softness. Madison moves forward slowly. Her brand new sneakers squeak on the polished floor. She stops a few feet from the bench and avoids eye contact. Judge Caprio waits patiently until she finally looks up. When their eyes meet, he speaks in a tone that is steady, not harsh, not gentle, but filled with the weight of experience. Madison, do you know what your mother does at her job? Madison shrugs. She's a nurse. I asked if you know what she does, not her title. Madison frowns. She takes care of sick people or something. I don't know the details. Judge Caprio nods. She saves lives. She comforts patients who are dying. She works weekends and holidays. She comes home exhausted and still takes care of you. And what do you do, Madison? What do you contribute? The question lingers. Madison opens her mouth, then closes it. I'm in middle school. I'm not supposed to contribute. I'm a kid, interesting, the judge replies. You're a child when it comes to responsibility, but old enough to judge your mother's value based on money. Madison's face reddens. That's not what I meant, it is what you said. You told this courtroom your father has money and your mother does not, implying that makes him better or more deserving of respect. Madison looks away. I didn't mean it like that. Then how did you mean it? Silence. Madison stares at the floor. When was the last time you thanked your mother for anything? Her voice is quiet now, defensive. I don't know. Why does that matter? Because gratitude matters. Respect matters. Your mother is here embarrassed because she couldn't pay parking tickets while working 60 hours a week to support you, and you are standing here acting like she is a burden. Madison crosses her arms tighter, jaw tense. Judge Caprio leans in. Let me tell you something about your father, Madison. A man who is 8 months behind on child support but buys you designer clothing is not teaching you success. He's teaching you manipulation. He is buying your approval because it is easier than being a responsible parent. The room is silent. Madison's face turns pale. That's not true. He loves me, I'm sure he does. But love without responsibility is hollow. Your mother loves you too. The difference is that she sacrifices for you every single day. Madison's voice cracks. You don't understand. You don't know what it's like, you're right. I don't know what it's like to be 12 with divorced parents. But I do know what happens when children grow into adults without learning respect, gratitude, or empathy. Because no one taught them when it mattered, and right now, Madison, you are heading in that direction. A tear rolls down Madison's cheek. She wipes it quickly, struggling to keep her composure. Judge Caprio's voice softens but stays firm. Here's what we're going to do. Your mother came here today asking for help with tickets she can't afford, because she's been too busy holding your life together. I'm going to reduce her total fines to $50 and give her 90 days to pay. Madison's face shows early relief, assuming the situation is resolved. Can we go now? No, you're not finished. What? Madison asks. Judge Caprio's tone shifts again. Calm but firm. You may not have the traffic citation, but the level of disrespect you've shown in this courtroom requires me to address your attitude and what it means for your future. Madison looks confused. What does that mean? It means I'm ordering you to complete 40 hours of community service. You can't do that. I'm just a kid. You keep saying that, but your behavior today doesn't reflect a child. It reflects someone who believes the world owes them something. Community service will help change that. Madison turns to her mother. Mom, tell him he can't do this. Sarah finally faces her. Her eyes are still red from crying, but her voice has a new steadiness. Your Honor, she says quietly, I completely support your decision. Madison stares at her, shocked. Mom, what are you doing? Sarah steps closer to her daughter. For years, Madison, I've excused your behavior. I blame the divorce, your father's influence, your age. But today, seeing you speak to me like that in front of everyone, I realized I haven't been setting real limits. Judge Caprio is right. You need to understand actual work and genuine struggle. Madison's voice rises. I can't believe you're doing this to me. You're supposed to be on my side. I am on your side, Sarah replies, her voice steady even as tears continue. That's exactly why I agree with this. Allowing you to continue like this is not love. It's avoiding responsibility. Judge Caprio nods at Sarah, then addresses Madison again. You'll complete your 40 hours at Sunset Nursing Home. You'll assist elderly residents who don't have family visiting, individuals who worked their entire lives and are now alone. You'll go every Saturday for the next 10 weeks, 4 hours each day. Madison's tears start to fall. Her earlier confidence is gone. This isn't fair. Fair, Judge Caprio repeats. Your mother working 2 jobs while your father lives comfortably isn't fair. Your mother going without so you can go to school isn't fair. But accountability for your actions is not about fairness. It's about responsibility. And that is what you are going to learn. The courtroom is silent. Some people nod. Others quietly wipe tears. Judge Caprio continues. Before you leave today, you owe your mother an apology. Madison freezes. no longer the defiant person who entered earlier. You apologized publicly? No, Judge Caprio says. You disrespected her publicly. You embarrassed her in front of strangers. So you will apologize publicly as well. Madison looks at her mother, whose expression now holds both pain and hope. The room is quiet enough to hear the air conditioning. Madison breathes unsteadily. Mom, I'm sorry. Judge Caprio's voice remains steady. Say it sincerely, Madison. Look at her. Say what you are apologizing for. Madison's face tightens and new tears fall. She steps toward her mother, hands shaking. Mom, I'm sorry for what I said, for comparing you to Dad, for saying he has money and you don't. I'm sorry for being embarrassed of you. I'm sorry for not seeing how hard you work, she whispers. I'm sorry for making you feel like you aren't enough. Because you are. You're more than enough. Sarah's expression softens. All the tension fades. She opens her arms and Madison falls into them. Crying into her shoulder. The expensive jacket and labels seem unimportant now, just clothes on a child who suddenly looks very young. Sarah holds her, her hand gently on Madison's hair, a familiar gesture grounded in unconditional care. I love you, Sarah murmurs. I've always loved you, even when it's difficult. The courtroom watches quietly, some with tears, some reflecting on their own lives. Even the bailiff looks away for a moment. Judge Caprio observes the moment calmly, as though this is the true purpose of his work. Not the fines, but the healing. After allowing time, he speaks again. Miss Martinez, look at me. Madison wipes her face, smudging her makeup. You will begin your community service this Saturday. The coordinator at Sunset Nursing Home will expect you at 9 a.m. You'll work until 1 in the afternoon. For 10 Saturdays in a row. Madison nods, unable to speak. And Madison, one more thing. Yes, Your Honor. This isn't a punishment meant to harm you. It's an opportunity to grow into someone stronger than who you are today. The people you'll be helping have lived long lives. They've worked, struggled, endured. They carry wisdom you can learn from. If you're wise, you'll listen. Madison nods again, her expression showing that the message has reached her. Thank you, Your Honor, she says quietly. 6 weeks pass. The courtroom is busy on a Thursday afternoon when Sarah Martinez returns. Not because she has to, and not for any citation. She is asked to speak with Judge Caprio, and he has agreed to see her during a break. She enters with Madison beside her, and the difference in the girl is immediately noticeable. The designer clothing is gone, replaced by simple jeans and a modest sweater. No jewelry except small earrings. Her hair is tied back in a practical ponytail like her mother's. Most strikingly, there is no phone in her hand. She walks beside her mother now, not behind her. When they approach the bench, she meets the judge's eyes with respect. Mrs. Martinez, Judge Caprio says with a small smile. I wasn't expecting to see you again so soon. I hope all is well. Sarah smiles, genuinely for the first time in this courtroom. Everything is more than well, Your Honor. I wanted to update you on Madison's progress, and she wanted to speak for herself. The judge nods to Madison. Go ahead. Madison takes a breath. Her voice is calm and steady. Your Honor, I've completed 32 of my 40 hours at Sunset. I wanted to tell you that it has been... She pauses, searching. Life-changing. I met a woman there, Mrs. Chin. She's 84 and no one visits her anymore. She worked 3 jobs her entire life to send her children to college. When she talks about her struggles, I see my mom. I see what she does for me. The judge leans back, clearly pleased. And what else have you learned? Madison looks at her mother before continuing. I've learned that the things my father buys don't mean anything if they cost my mom her peace. I blocked his wife on social media because she kept making comments about what my mom couldn't afford. I've been helping more at home, doing dishes, laundry, small things, but they matter. Sarah gently squeezes her daughter's hand. She's been wonderful, Your Honor. She even got a part-time job at the library to help with expenses. She wants to contribute instead of only receive. Judge Caprio's expression shows approval. Madison, do you remember what I told you about punishment being an opportunity? Madison nods. You said it's a chance to become someone better. And have you? Madison answers firmly. I'm trying every day. I'm not perfect, but I'm trying. That's all any of us can do, the judge replies. He stands, a gesture that surprises both mother and daughter. When you first came here, the two of you had lost your way together. Today you're leaving as a family finding its way back. That is the best result this court could hope for. Sarah's eyes fill with tears, gratitude. Relief, the judge offers one final reminder. Madison, the world will try to convince you that success is measured by money and possessions. Your mother has already shown you the truth. Real success is measured in character, sacrifice, and love that doesn't give up when things are difficult. Don't lose that lesson. I won't, Your Honor, Madison promises. They turn to leave. Madison places her arm around her mother, and Sarah leans into her. They walk out together in a way they haven't in years. The courtroom watches them go. When the door closes, Judge Caprio sits back down with a quiet, satisfied smile. Don't forget to subscribe to Judge Stories for more moments where entitlement meets accountability, and where judges like Frank Caprio remind us that justice is about more than rules. It's about lessons that shape lives. Hit the like button if you believe every child should learn the value of respect and responsibility. And comment below, what would you have done in Judge Caprio's position? Because this story is not just about a frustrated mother or an entitled teenager. It's about all of us, and the values we choose to pass on. The greatest wealth we give our children is not in shopping bags or bank accounts. It is in character, compassion, and the courage to keep becoming better.